She talks a lot about, the way she grew up. Her mom was a hoarder, and they didn't really have a very good quality of life in their home. She showered her with her brothers up until she was 12, 13. And her brother was 16. She, gave her exams along her body and her privates. And it was extremely hard to hear as a mom and also as somebody who grew up with a stage parent. You can't help but, as a child actor who's grown up and figured their shit out a bit, but compare stage parent craziness, right? So through the first part of this book, it was very hard for me not to be oh, I can relate to that, or trauma bonding with the narrator. And in some parts, I was shocked that I could bond, and then also oh, no, wait, what does that mean about me? But in other ways, I was so fucking mad that the infrastructure to catch these children who are at risk, essentially, of being exploited just does not exist. And I think you all know by now that I intend to use lots of means to figure this out for people so that we can, help people in the future. So let's see. She, gets into, an acting class after becoming a background actor, and her mom is struggling with cancer and treatments and always trying to figure that out. And she feels very guilty. And what I can truly relate to with Jennette on is how much she loved her mom's attention, how much she wanted her mom to just be her best friend, and how the sun rises and set with her mom. And God, did that speak volumes to me. And I know it speaks volumes to other friends of mine whose moms were very close with them, seemingly so. But it's never really quite that clean when you're a stage parent, because you don't realize this, but the industry, because it lacks the infrastructure for putting children's mental health first or at the forefront, is that the industry grooms parents into allowing for moments of bad moments. There's opportunities for things to happen. So they don't realize it, but they start to step away. They feel more comfortable. They want to be liked. They want to be, they want their kid to work if this is what they think their kid's dream is. And that's the good version of a parent. The bad version of a parent is Jennette McCurdy's mom. She's one of the worst. She's one of them for sure. So basically, everything is seemingly okay in the beginning, right? She's too young to really know any better. Her mom just wants to baby her all the time. She loves her mom's attention. She gets into an acting class. She starts working more normally. But she's learning how to process her acting chops, as most kids do. If you could cry on cue, oh man, you're a booker. And one of the scariest things she says in the book is, the reason I know how to cry on cue is because I see it from what my mom does. Because her mom was a complete narcissist, as she said in interviews, as I've heard her say. And she would turn it on in order to manipulate her father and all of the people. And the things that she did about her cancer treatments, where she would basically make them stage rehearse her funeral. It was emotional abuse from all around, right? So Jennette, as a baby Jennette, would be able to cry on cue, and she was known for that. But then shortly after, when she couldn't cry on cue because she was just tapped out, or she couldn't do that time and time again, when she booked a job, it was a mark against her. And I think from the jump, what we learn about Jennette is that her bodily agency was continually being compromised. And she was conditioned, as she says very much later in the book, to just accept a dissociative lifestyle. So much of her is numbed out from the jump. that it's amazing that like I said, it's amazing that she's still with us. So Jennette continues to succeed because she's so talented and resilient. And truly, I think she just wants the love and acceptance of her mom. She seems to have really supportive grandparents. And there's things that are around her that could be good, right? Like she definitely loves her father, but she doesn't really connect with him on the level that she connects with her mom on. And now speaking from experience, like a part of having a stage parent, displacement is the norm. You're either displaced from one of your parents or your parents and your siblings, and it destroys your family. And again, there's no infrastructure to support the siblings as well as the father that like basically loses time and misses that entire lifespan of being a parent to that child. And generally it is the father, but there are stage fathers, and some of them are way more exploited than their stage moms. So, God, it feels really weird to be truly telling you guys and unpacking this book, because I feel like for the first time, this is me being vulnerable on this podcast. And I don't even know if you guys are really gonna like care, but I care, and I care about, the shape of this podcast as being some sort of an authentic, landing spot for folks to kind of engage with. So this is it. So be kind, please, in comments, because this is hard to get through. So let's see. I'm not gonna be super detailed about the everything, because I don't want to ruin it for you. But I just want to give you my insights, because chances are, if you're tuning into this, some of you have probably already listened or read this book because it's so popular, as it should be. So she is extremely nervous about growing into her body when she realizes that she has a boob, because for young girls, boobs come in on different sides sometimes. And so she goes to her mom, and her mom begins to coach her on how to have an eating disorder. She teaches her how to have, a calorie counting system. And she recounts this with such ease that you don't even process it until you see the effects that this has on Jennette 100, 200 pages later or something. And the fact that it spirals out of control for her in such ways, it makes you almost like complicit in her journey, which is what makes her a masterful writer. So she's, learning how to calorie count, and, she feels so close to her mom because of this. It's their secret. When she goes to the pediatrician, they're like, I think she has an eating disorder. And her mom's like, no, she doesn't. She's great. She's fine. And she even mentions anorexia at the pediatrician. And that's the first time that Jennette even hears about this. But she's so young. I think she's 12. She doesn't even realize it. But she knew, which comes up later. So she continues to stay very, very small, which allows her to play younger parts for longer, which gives you a competitive edge, or so her mom likes her to believe. Her home life is very interesting in that her father and her mother are very contentious, or at least her mother is contentious to her father, and he's extremely beta, passive, so to speak. He just kind of lets her run all over him. And she's, Mormon or LDS, and she actually has really kind of lighthearted memories of what the church means to her, which would make one think that it was a place for her to actually kind of feel normal for a period of time, until I think she goes so far into the dark part of her life that she's like, I just don't believe in this. This is ridiculous. She starts to develop some OCD patterns while she's in church. She thinks it's the Holy Spirit talking to her. Thanks so much for checking out this clip for the Vulnerable Podcast. For the full episode, go ahead and check out my YouTube channel. That link is in the description. Thanks again.